Jaden Korr is a character that stands out in the galaxy of Star Wars, not solely because of his journey or accomplishments, but because of the depth of his evolution. From the onset, Jaden is introduced as a student with boundless potential at Luke Skywalker's new Jedi Academy. Trained under the guidance of Katarn, a revered figure himself, Jaden's growth is marked by his courage, adaptability, and choices that continually shape his path. What makes Jaden's story intriguing is not merely the battles he faces or the enemies he encounters, but the nuanced way in which he grapples with the constant pull between the light and dark sides of the Force. Arriving at the Jedi Academy, Jaden's background immediately sets him apart. Unlike many of his peers, Jaden has already constructed his own lightsaber, a significant accomplishment for an aspiring Jedi. This feat hints at a deep connection with the Force, as lightsaber construction is traditionally a rite of passage for Padawans who have reached a certain level of understanding and control over the Force. In a way, this early mastery signals Jaden's potential to become a powerful Force user, but it also places a weight of expectation on his shoulders. How he navigates these expectations is what shapes him into the character we come to know. Training under Katarn, Jaden is not only taught the traditional aspects of being a Jedi, but is also exposed to Katarn's own unique, somewhat unorthodox views on the Force. Katarn, once a soldier and mercenary, possesses a practical perspective on the galaxy's dangers and understands that the Force is a tool that, if mishandled, can easily corrupt. Jaden benefits from this mentorship, learning that there is more to being a Jedi than strict adherence to the light or dark sides. This understanding becomes crucial as Jaden encounters various moral dilemmas and challenges that test his resolve. Jaden's journey within the Academy is marked by his encounters with the dark side. Almost from the beginning, he is thrust into situations where he has to confront Sith artifacts, forbidden knowledge, and other dark forces that lurk within the galaxy. Unlike many of his fellow students who shy away from such elements, Jaden approaches them with a unique curiosity, sometimes even a willingness to understand their workings. This curiosity, though, comes at a price. The allure of the dark side is potent, and as Jaden continues to explore these forbidden aspects, he finds himself occasionally at odds with his own beliefs. It is a balancing act that forces him to examine the nature of the Force more closely and question the dichotomy often drawn between light and dark. Throughout his training, Jaden's experiences outside of the Academy compound his understanding of what it means to be a Jedi. He is sent on missions that bring him face to face with diverse and often dangerous factions, from criminals and bounty hunters to Sith acolytes and rogue Force users. Each encounter serves as a lesson, not only in combat but in philosophy. For instance, during a mission on a remote planet, Jaden witnesses how certain communities utilize the Force in ways that are not recognized or accepted by the mainstream Jedi Order. Rather than condemn these practices outright, Jaden contemplates their purpose and utility, furthering his understanding of the Force's vast potential. His ability to empathize with these different perspectives and appreciate the nuanced ways in which the Force can manifest is a trait that few others in his position possess. Jaden's early experiences with the Force illustrate his inclination towards balance. He is not drawn solely to the light, nor is he entirely captivated by the dark. Instead, he seems to seek a middle path, a way to reconcile both aspects of the Force within himself. This is not a common approach within the Jedi Order, where the teachings often emphasize a strict adherence to the light as a means of avoiding the corruption of the dark. However, Jaden's journey exposes him to a different truth, that to fully understand and master the Force, one must confront and comprehend both its light and dark aspects. As Jaden progresses, he encounters Tavian Aximus and the Disciples of Ragnos, a Sith cult dedicated to resurrecting the ancient Sith Lord Marka Ragnos. This confrontation serves as a pivotal moment in Jaden's journey, pushing him to the very edge of his beliefs. The Disciples of Ragnos represent a direct threat to everything he holds dear, and their power is a reminder of the dangers of unchecked ambition and desire. However, it is also through this encounter that Jaden realizes the importance of vigilance and self-awareness. The path of the Jedi is fraught with temptations, and every battle with the dark side, whether external or internal, is a test of character and resolve. This confrontation with Tavian and her followers is not a simple good versus evil conflict. It is an exploration of power, intent, and the price of ambition. Tavian herself is a complex figure, driven by a desire for recognition and influence, something Jaden can understand on a basic level. Yet her willingness to sacrifice others in pursuit of her goals starkly contrasts with the principles of the Jedi. Jaden's interactions with her force him to consider the potential within himself for similar desires and to recognize the importance of restraint and accountability in wielding the Force. Through his battles with Tavian and her followers, Jaden learns that true strength lies not in dominance over others but in mastery over oneself. Jaden's journey is also marked by his interactions with his peers. Fellow students and allies, like Rosh Panin, serve as mirrors reflecting aspects of Jaden's personality and values that he might not otherwise confront. Rosh, in particular, is a source of tension for Jaden. Initially a friend, Rosh's descent into the dark side and eventual betrayal strike a chord with Jaden. He sees in Rosh the dangers of unchecked ambition and the ease with which one can be seduced by the promise of power. However, rather than condemning Rosh outright, Jaden feels a mix of disappointment and understanding. He realizes that anyone, including himself, is susceptible to the allure of the dark side. This insight reinforces his belief in the importance of empathy and forgiveness, qualities that often go unrecognized in discussions about the Force. These relationships are crucial to Jaden's growth, as they highlight the importance of community and accountability within the Jedi Order. Unlike many Jedi who view their journey as an isolated path, Jaden understands that the connections he forms with others are an integral part of his development. His compassion and understanding, even for those who have fallen, set him apart from many of his peers and mentors. It is this capacity for empathy that often keeps him grounded, reminding him of the values that define him as a Jedi. The Jedi Academy, while providing a structured environment for learning and growth, also represents a limitation in Jaden's development. The teachings, while valuable, are often rigid, emphasizing the light side's virtues while largely ignoring the dark side's potential for understanding and growth. Jaden's willingness to question these teachings and seek his own truth is a testament to his independence and resilience. He recognizes that the Force is not a simple dichotomy of good and evil, but a complex, multifaceted entity that requires a nuanced understanding. This realization sets him on a path that diverges from the traditional Jedi teachings, a path that will ultimately define his legacy. Jaden's journey is one of self-discovery, marked by a series of choices that test his beliefs and values. Each decision he makes, each battle he fights, brings him closer to understanding his place within the galaxy and the role he is meant to play. He learns that being a Jedi is not about adhering to a strict code or blindly following orders, but about understanding oneself and the Force in a way that fosters growth, compassion, and wisdom. This perspective allows Jaden to approach the Force with a balance that few others achieve, embracing both its light and dark aspects without succumbing to the corruption of either. In many ways, Jaden's journey is a microcosm of the broader struggles faced by the Jedi Order and the galaxy itself. His story reflects the challenges of understanding and reconciling different perspectives, of finding balance in a world defined by extremes. Jaden's willingness to embrace both the light and dark sides of the Force is a reminder that true mastery comes not from rejecting one side in favor of the other, but from understanding and integrating both aspects into a cohesive whole. This balance, while difficult to achieve, is the key to Jaden's growth and success as a Jedi. The legacy of Jaden Korr is one that transcends simple definitions of good and evil. His journey is a testament to the power of self-awareness, empathy, and understanding, qualities that define him as a Jedi and as an individual. Through his experiences, Jaden demonstrates that the path of the Jedi is not a straightforward one, but a complex, ever-evolving journey that requires resilience, humility, and courage. As Jaden continues on his journey, the challenges he faces grow increasingly complex, both in terms of physical danger and moral ambiguity. His interactions with the disciples of Ragnos serve as only one part of a larger tapestry of choices and confrontations that compel him to question everything he knows about the Force, the Jedi Order, and himself. Each mission exposes him to perspectives that defy traditional Jedi teachings, pushing him to redefine what it truly means to be a Force wielder in a galaxy where the lines between light and dark are often blurred. One of the defining moments in Jaden's journey is his encounter with the ancient Sith ruins on various worlds scattered across the galaxy. These ruins, steeped in dark energies, carry with them the echoes of the past, memories of Sith lords who sought dominion over all life. Jaden can sense the lingering darkness, the palpable corruption that once fueled their reign. Yet rather than rejecting these places as sources of pure evil, Jaden is intrigued by the history embedded within their walls. He feels an almost academic curiosity, a desire to understand the allure that once drew so many to the dark side. This willingness to explore without fear or judgment is unusual within the Jedi Order, where such ruins are often avoided or destroyed to prevent the spread of Sith influence. As Jaden learns more about the Sith and their methods, he comes to realize that the dark side is not inherently evil, but rather a force that amplifies one's desires and intentions. For many Jedi, this realization would be a danger, a potential step toward corruption. However, for Jaden, it is simply knowledge, a tool to better understand his own vulnerabilities and strengths. He recognizes that the dark side feeds on emotions, anger, fear, ambition, and that avoiding these emotions entirely is unrealistic. Instead, Jaden works to harness and control his feelings, drawing strength from them without allowing them to dictate his actions. This approach is risky and unconventional, but it is also empowering, granting him a unique edge that few others possess. Jaden's interactions with the Sith ruins also lead him to question the Jedi Order's strict stance on the dark side. He begins to see the Force not as a binary concept but as a spectrum, with countless shades between the extremes of light and dark. This perspective is further reinforced when he encounters rogue Force users who exist outside the confines of the Jedi and Sith doctrines. These individuals, often self-taught and fiercely independent, embody a different approach to the Force, one that emphasizes personal growth and adaptability rather than rigid adherence to a code. Jaden finds himself drawn to their philosophies, recognizing in them a kinship that transcends traditional boundaries. One such encounter occurs on a distant, war-torn planet, where Jaden meets a former Jedi who has abandoned the Order to follow his own path. This individual, hardened by years of solitude and survival, shares with Jaden a perspective that challenges his understanding of loyalty and duty. The former Jedi explains that the Order's strict adherence to the light side often leads to an inability to confront the harsh realities of the galaxy. In his view, true wisdom comes from experiencing both the light and dark sides, learning to navigate the complexities of each. Jaden listens intently, finding himself unable to dismiss these ideas. Though he remains committed to the Jedi Order, he begins to see that there are many paths to enlightenment, each with its own merits and pitfalls. Jaden's openness to different viewpoints is not without consequences. His peers and mentors at the Academy begin to notice his unconventional attitudes and question his loyalty to the light. Some view his curiosity about the dark side as a dangerous flirtation with corruption, a potential liability that could lead him astray. Others, like Katarn, recognize the value in Jaden's explorations, understanding that true strength lies in knowledge and self-control. This tension within the Academy forces Jaden to walk a fine line, balancing his own beliefs with the expectations of those around him. It is a precarious position, one that places him under constant scrutiny and tests his resolve. Despite the challenges, Jaden's willingness to explore the boundaries of the Force proves invaluable. During a mission to recover a stolen artifact, he and his team encounter a group of Sith acolytes who are more powerful and organized than anticipated. The ensuing battle is brutal, a clash of wills and philosophies that pushes Jaden to his limits. In the heat of combat, he draws on every lesson he has learned, tapping into the full spectrum of the Force without hesitation. So the balanced approach allows him to adapt to the unpredictable nature of the fight, using elements of both light and dark to gain the upper hand. In doing so, he demonstrates a mastery over his emotions that many Jedi never achieve, a skill born not from denial but from acceptance. The victory is hard-won, but it cements Jaden's belief in the importance of understanding both sides of the Force. He realizes that the Jedi Order's fear of the dark side often leads to an incomplete understanding of the Force as a whole, limiting their potential. Jaden's approach, though controversial, has granted him a resilience and flexibility that set him apart. His willingness to confront his own darkness, to acknowledge the power of his emotions without succumbing to them, is a rare quality, one that defines him as a unique Force wielder within the Jedi tradition. This newfound perspective, however, does not come without risks. Jaden's encounters with the dark side have awakened a part of him that craves power, a part that whispers of the potential to achieve greatness if only he would surrender fully to his emotions. It is a seductive voice, one that promises strength and control beyond anything the light side alone can offer. Jaden is acutely aware of this temptation, the ever-present lure of the dark side that seeks to exploit his ambitions and insecurities. Yet, rather than fearing this part of himself, he chooses to confront it directly, acknowledging its presence without allowing it to define him. This inner struggle becomes a crucial part of his journey, a constant reminder of the delicate balance he must maintain. In the quiet moments between missions, Jaden often reflects on his place within the galaxy. He understands that his path is an unconventional one, fraught with dangers and uncertainties that few others would willingly face. Yet he feels a sense of purpose that drives him forward, a conviction that his approach to the Force is one that can bridge the divide between light and dark. Jaden envisions a future where Force users are not constrained by rigid doctrines, where individuals are free to explore the full depth of their potential without fear of condemnation. This vision, though idealistic, fuels his determination and strengthens his resolve. Jaden's journey is not just a quest for power or mastery, it is a search for truth and self-understanding. Each encounter, each battle brings him closer to realizing his true potential, to discovering the role he is meant to play within the galaxy. Through his struggles, Jaden learns that the Force is not a tool to be wielded, but a partner, a companion that guides him through the complexities of existence. This realization is a profound one, reshaping his understanding of the Jedi path and affirming his belief in the importance of balance. In the end, Jaden's story is one of resilience, a testament to the power of self-discovery and the courage to defy convention. His willingness to embrace both the light and dark sides of the Force, to confront his own fears and desires without succumbing to them, is a rare quality that few Force users possess. Through his journey, Jaden exemplifies the potential for greatness that lies within each individual, a potential that is not limited by the boundaries of light or dark, but by one's willingness to confront and accept oneself fully. Jaden Korr is, in many ways, a reflection of the galaxy itself, a place of contrasts and contradictions, a world where light and dark coexist in a delicate balance. His journey serves as a reminder that true strength comes not from rejecting one's darker impulses, but from understanding and integrating them into a cohesive whole. In this way, Jaden's legacy is not just that of a powerful Force wielder or a skilled Jedi, but of a seeker, a warrior who understands that the greatest battles are often fought within. His story is a beacon for those who seek to understand the full scope of the Force, a legacy that will inspire generations to come. Through his trials and triumphs, Jaden has left an indelible mark on the galaxy, a testament to the power of balance and the importance of self-awareness. His journey is a reminder that the path of the Jedi is not one of certainty or simplicity, but of constant growth and discovery. In the end, Jaden's story is a celebration of the Force in all its complexity, a journey that transcends the boundaries of light and dark and reveals the true potential within each of us. As Jaden's journey unfolds, the tension between his personal beliefs and the traditional Jedi Order intensifies. He finds himself increasingly at odds with the rigid doctrines that define the Academy, doctrines that often refuse to acknowledge the complexity of the galaxy's moral landscape. While the Order teaches its students to embrace the light side of the Force as a means to avoid the corrupting influence of darkness, Jaden recognizes that true mastery requires understanding all aspects of the Force, even the ones deemed dangerous or taboo. During one of his missions, Jaden encounters an ancient holocron that contains teachings from a long-forgotten Jedi who had attempted to unify light and dark teachings into a singular philosophy. This holocron presents ideas that resonate deeply with Jaden, who has always felt that there is something incomplete about the Order's strict separation of light and dark. The teachings emphasize balance, arguing that the Force is not a force of good or evil in itself, but a reflection of the intent of its wielder. This philosophy reinforces Jaden's own evolving beliefs, further cementing his desire to pursue a path that embraces the Force's complexity rather than fearing it. This discovery opens up a new avenue of exploration for Jaden. He begins to experiment with techniques and perspectives that push him outside the comfort zone of conventional Jedi training. Some of his methods draw concern from his mentors, who see his willingness to engage with these teachings as a dangerous path. However, Jaden remains steadfast, confident that he can maintain control over his emotions and ambitions without succumbing to the corruption of the dark side. For him, this is not about gaining forbidden power or seeking dominion. It is about understanding the full spectrum of the Force to become a more complete Jedi. Jaden's reputation as a student willing to challenge convention begins to grow. Among his peers, he becomes a figure of intrigue, admired by some for his fearlessness and questioned by others who feel he is treading a dangerous line. The Jedi Council itself takes notice, keeping a closer watch on Jaden's progress, wary of his unorthodox methods. Yet, despite their concerns, they cannot deny his effectiveness. His missions are consistently successful, often due to his unique ability to adapt and think beyond traditional Jedi tactics. His approach to the Force gives him an edge that others, bound by strict adherence to the light, cannot achieve. However, the price of this independence is high. Jaden often feels isolated, caught between the expectations of the Jedi Order and his own desire to forge a different path. While he has friends within the Academy, many of them struggle to understand his perspective, viewing his ideas as a potential threat to their own stability and beliefs. Jaden's closest ally remains his mentor, Katarn, who recognizes the value in Jaden's explorations, even if he remains cautious of the risks involved. Kyle, having walked a similarly unconventional path himself, understands the importance of personal experience and discovery in a Jedi's growth. He encourages Jaden to follow his instincts while reminding him to stay vigilant against the seductive pull of the dark side. One of the most significant tests of Jaden's commitment to his philosophy occurs when he encounters a rogue Sith who has abandoned the traditional Sith teachings in favor of a balanced approach to the Force. Sith, rather than being a figure of malice and aggression, demonstrates a surprising degree of wisdom and restraint. Unlike the Jedi, who focus solely on the light, or the Sith, who embrace the dark side's potential for power, this individual has found a middle ground, channeling both sides of the Force with remarkable control. Jaden is both captivated and challenged by this encounter, as it offers a living example of the balance he has long sought to achieve. The rogue Sith shares with Jaden a new perspective on the Force, emphasizing that neither light nor dark is inherently good or evil. Rather, it is the intent behind each action that determines its moral weight. This conversation serves as a turning point for Jaden, reinforcing his belief that the Jedi Order's rigid doctrine is not the only way to understand the Force. However, he also realizes that pursuing such a path requires immense discipline and self-awareness. The line between balance and corruption is thin, and the temptation to let ambition override restraint is ever present. Through this encounter, Jaden begins to incorporate elements of the dark side into his training, not as a path to power, but as a means to deepen his understanding of the Force. He practices techniques that allow him to channel his emotions without being overwhelmed by them, finding strength in his passion and determination without surrendering to the darker impulses that accompany such feelings. This approach is incredibly difficult, a constant struggle to maintain control while tapping into energies that, if misused, could lead to destruction. It requires an extraordinary level of mindfulness and discipline, qualities that Jaden cultivates with each passing day. As he delves deeper into these practices, Jaden encounters moments of self-doubt. He questions whether his path is sustainable or if he is setting himself up for failure, a slow descent into the very darkness he hopes to transcend. These doubts are compounded by the reactions of those around him. Some of his peers begin to view him with suspicion, interpreting his actions as a sign of latent corruption. Others, however, see in him a visionary, someone unafraid to challenge the boundaries that the Jedi Order has imposed. The divided opinions of his fellow Jedi add to his inner turmoil, forcing him to constantly reassess his motivations and goals. One night, as Jaden meditates alone, he has a profound vision. In it, he sees a future where the Jedi Order has splintered, fractured by its inability to adapt to the changing galaxy. He sees Jedi and Sith alike falling into endless cycles of conflict, unable to break free from the rigid roles they have assigned themselves. In the vision, he stands between them, a figure of balance, holding both light and dark within him, a bridge between two worlds that have been in opposition for far too long. This vision is both inspiring and unsettling, revealing the potential consequences of his path, but also the profound impact he could have if he succeeds. The vision strengthens Jaden's resolve. He realizes that his journey is not just about personal growth or mastery of the Force. It is about challenging the status quo and redefining what it means to be a Force wielder in a galaxy that desperately needs balance. With this renewed purpose, he throws himself into his training with even greater intensity, honing his skills and pushing the boundaries of his abilities. He becomes increasingly skilled at blending light and dark techniques, a hybrid approach that grants him a versatility that few others possess. In combat, he moves with a fluidity that reflects his balanced philosophy. His strikes precise yet unrestrained. His defense is strong but flexible. Jaden's success, however, does not go unnoticed by the Jedi Council. His growing power and independence are both an asset and a liability in their eyes. They recognize his potential to become one of the Order's greatest champions, yet they fear the influence his teachings might have on others. To them, Jaden represents a risk-averse user who, while committed to the ideals of the Jedi, walks a path that could easily lead him astray. The Council debates how to handle this problem, some advocating for stricter oversight, others suggesting that Jaden be left to pursue his path with caution. Eventually, the Council confronts Jaden, urging him to abandon his unorthodox practices and adhere to the light exclusively. They frame this as a test of loyalty, a chance for him to prove his dedication to the Jedi Order and its values. Jaden, however, respectfully declines, explaining that his path is one of understanding and balance, a pursuit of the Force in all its aspects. He insists that the Order's fear of the dark side is limiting their potential, blinding them to the full scope of the Force's power. His words are met with a mixture of admiration and disapproval, a reminder of the divide that his philosophy has created within the Order. The Council ultimately decides to allow Jaden to continue his training, though with strict limitations on his use of dark side techniques. They hope that, over time, he will come to see the wisdom of their teachings and abandon his pursuit of balance. Jaden, however, knows that his journey is far from over. He has glimpsed a future where the Jedi Order must adapt or risk irrelevance, and he is determined to be the catalyst for that change. Though he remains loyal to the Order, he recognizes that his path may lead him beyond its confines, into uncharted territories where light and dark coexist in harmony. In the end, Jaden's journey is one of transformation, a quest not only for mastery over the Force but for a deeper understanding of himself and his place within the galaxy. Through his trials, he discovers that the Force is not a tool to be wielded or a power to be feared, but a partner in his journey, a guide that reveals the truth of all things. Jaden's story is a reminder that true strength lies in balance, that to fully understand the Force is to embrace its complexity rather than fear it. As he looks toward the future, Jaden knows that his journey is only beginning, a journey that will shape not only his own destiny, but the destiny of the Jedi Order itself.